is Dave, and I have the pleasure of knowing Anna and Justin both at WashU and in Madison. I'm a grad student as well, and I guess I'd like to start off by expressing just how much I do respect and admire and love both Anna and Justin. I think they're strikingly intelligent and infectiously thoughtful and just really amazingly loving people, and I think it's almost mystifying how successful they've been in figuring out how to surround themselves with intelligent and thoughtful and loving people. And I think me being here is probably a good testimony. but rather than contribute, another kind of mediocre chapter to the hagiography of Justin and Anna that's been spoken here tonight, I'd like to relate a story that I think is sort of relevant to their relationship. And this is a story about myself. This is something that happened to me maybe a month and a half ago. As I said, I'm a graduate student, and kind of something that comes with the territory are feelings occasionally of being overwhelmed or uninspired, or maybe just kind of pensive in general. And at these times, I find myself often going to a park that's maybe 4 blocks from my apartment, Beach Park. If you're a Madisonian, you might be familiar with that, but it's a beach on Lake Monona, which is the lake over yonder, and I'll sit there and sort of recollect and decompress. And I was doing this about a month and a half ago. I had a brioche with me, and I was eating it. And there was a little squirrel. I was sitting on a park bench, and it was on a path, kind of like a sidewalk, and there was a squirrel, and it was clearly a fairly domesticated squirrel. It didn't have any fear of me, and made it very obvious that it wanted a piece of what I was eating. So I broke off a little piece of this brioche and threw it on the path, and I guess it maybe picked up some dirt or sand or something, but the squirrel inspected this little piece of brioche and kind of dropped it off sort of to the right of where I was sitting and let me know that it was dissatisfied with this piece of brioche that I offered. And so I picked off a slightly larger piece of brioche and did the same thing. And again, it was dissatisfied with what I offered it. And so it dropped it off slightly to the right of where I was sitting. And so finally I figured out a way to take off a little piece and sort of drop it so that the squirrel could catch it and it wouldn't be, dirtied by anything on the path that it separated the squirrel and myself, that it was satisfied with what I'd offered it. And clearly this was the case. It took it from me, and it was ecstatic. It was very happy with what I was able to give it. And unfortunately, it was a little distracted by this perfect piece of brioche that I gave. And this was happening as 2 bikers were coming down the path that I was sitting on. And so the squirrel, it still had most of its sensibilities about itself, and it was able to dodge the first bite, but it ended up under the tires of the second bite, and you could hear bones and organs being rearranged, and this squirrel was not in a good state, still alive, but no longer having the use of its lower half. It was visibly disappointing.
That sounds like don't wait for the
protection. And so these people being native Madisonians were distressed, and they stopped their bikes, and the man who had hit the squirrel was sort of bent over and looked like he was ready to vomit. And in the midst of all of this, I noticed that the squirrel, which still had life in it, was struggling desperately across the bike path that I was sitting. And it was reaching out towards this perfect piece of brioche that despite its new paraplegia. So I think that's an apt metaphor